I am Rusty Wallace. You're on the AT8 network, and the next round starts now.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to another exciting round of the iDrive series broadcasted here on the ATA network. We have 2 more rounds left to run here at the Gateway Kartplex, and tonight is the last time we will see them run in the normal direction, as the round 7 finale will be ran backwards like we did back in the spring series. We have 13 drivers registered to run in the light class tonight, with only one new face to the iDrive series, and that would be Sean Clemens. Everyone else has been racing off and on all season long, and they will get to do so tonight in one class. Let's take a quick look at the point standings going into tonight's round 6. Brendan Lauer sits comfortably on the top of the points with 1,040 points. Mathematically speaking, if he finishes off the night well, he will pretty much have the championship locked down. The man chasing him down is Bobby Krug, who's looking strong after his comeback sweep last round. Krug is 47 points behind his teammate. Look for him to be battling his way to the front all night long. 57 points behind Krug is Austin Russell, who is occupying the last spot on the podium. Russell was able to finish ahead of the current challenger, Micah Floretta, in both the races last round. Russell is going to do whatever it takes to move away from Floretta and closer to Krug in the point standings. And like we mentioned, Micah Floretta is fighting hard for Austin Russell's spot. He sits currently 4th, only 33 points behind him. Floretta finished 4th in the spring standings, and he's not going to let Austin Russell push him down there a second time. Your remaining top 10 consists of Adam Ward in 5th, Gary Faulkner in 6th, brother Scott Faulkner in 7th, 8th is where Scott McClendon Jr. is, 9th is Jared Hester, and Ryan Josie sits in 10th with only a 21-point difference to 11th, which means everything to the drivers that are wanting to qualify for the iDrive Championship at the end of the year. Before we head down to the track, I'm going to make my pick for this round's Fight the Fight driver to watch. Tonight, keep your eyes on Bobby Krug. After coming up short for the majority of the season and having a variety of different instances head his way, the sweep he performed last week might have cleared his head enough for him to keep finishing well and hopefully make it a closer fight for the championship. He's also got a good kart selection again this week with karts 22 and 10, so he's got a good chance at pulling off another sweep tonight. Once again, Bobby Krug, your Fight the Fight driver to watch for round 6. And with that, the light class has just finished up their qualifying session, so let's throw it down to the grid to see your starting lineup for Heat 1.
Alrighty, ready to go here. Starting grid presented by ATA Network. Let's look at your front 2. Brendan Lauer and Scott McClendon Jr. 38-1, 38-182. Lauer got held up a bit in qualifying, still made a really good effort out of it. As we look back to row 2, that's got Bobby Krug and Ryan Josie. Krug and Lauer battling for the championship. If Lauer gets a win, it's all over.
And starting back there in row 3 is going to be Adam Ward to the inside, Gary Faulkner to the outside, Both drivers ran a 38.6 during their qualifying session. If we take a look back at row 4, it'll be Micah Floretta and Austin Russell, both guys fighting for that third place position in the point standings. Should be interesting to see how they behave with each other tonight.
In the back half of the field here, Lawrence Dunlap, Scott Falconer. Scott with that impressive second place in round 5. We'll see if he can keep that going. Going to be pretty hard starting back in row 5, but now row 6, Jared Hester, Patrick Schmuke. That's a 1 second difference between them. That's probably just the difference in track time.
And starting in last is going to be Sean Clemens. First time out here on the track. Probably not going to be able to pick up any good positions, but it'll be a fun time for him here at the Gateway Kartplex. It usually is, so we recommend coming out for an arrive and drive session and having some fun. But today we'll have 3 onboard cameras. The first one will be with the pole sitter Brendan Lauer. He'll be carrying the McKay Napa Auto Parts onboard camera. McKay Napa Auto Parts, 20 stores serving the St. Louis area. Brendan Lauer looking to have a good night tonight. Starting from the pole position, has first in points, should be a good night. And then we'll go back 1 row to Bobby Krug. Bobby Krug will be carrying the Fight the Fight clothing that inspires onboard camera. He's been pretty confident with the Fight the Fight brand and what they do for people in need, so it's awesome to see them supporting his onboard camera. And we'll go a little bit deeper back in the pack. The guy that's battling with Micah Floretta for the 3rd place spot will be Austin Russell. He'll have the STL Motorsport Magazine onboard camera. The St. Louis Motorsport Magazine, your source for motorsport news, results, and events.
All right, with the ads out of the way, looks like we're getting ready to get it going here in round 6. Thumbs are up. And the flag is not going down. Is it going down? There it is. Green flag, round 6 is going.
Keith Sharp throwing the flag from the ground. I know that's what everyone's preference is. Nobody likes it from the flag stand. But it looks like Brendan Lauer's doing a good job here. He's got McClendon Jr. on his rear end. We've seen this before, where Cruz kind of lurking in the back, and McClendon Jr. had a spin out in turn 1, and that would give Bobby Krug the 2nd place spot. I'm sure McClendon's not hoping for that, but they all kind of seem to single file their way through as they've got lap 1 halfway in the books.
I want to take a moment here at the beginning of the night to go over exactly what our point situation is. Here's how we simplify it. If Lauer can get and win at any point in the last couple of rounds, he wins the championship. If Austin Russell and Bobby Krug can sweep both rounds, they might have a chance. That's pretty much where we sit now, but Lauer in contention to clinch it in this race, it looks like. If he can just hold on to first, he'll have that championship.
Brendan Lauer has a lot of insurance for that 1st place spot. Let's go back to his 7-win streak. And he's looking pretty strong here tonight to extend his win amounts for this season. But I think the real battle right now that I'm seeing is this battle between Micah Floretta and Austin Russell. Micah Floretta finished 4th in the last season standings, and he doesn't want to finish 4th again. But Austin Russell is really wanting, more than him, because he had to finish back in 6th when they all had that battle with Brian Walker. So it should be interesting to see what happens between those two tonight, if they're going to behave well with each other and what's going to happen.
Looking like we're seeing a bit of a gap grow between 4th place and 5th place. Adam Ward in 4th. I believe Micah Floretta sitting back there in 5th right now. And I think that'll have some sort of point significance in that both those guys, Russell and Floretta, they're going to need some big points. They don't want any races that are going to be immediately marked off, because they're going to be at each other's throats trying to get on the podium when round 7 comes around. So if they want to get any sort of leg up on the other, they don't just need to beat the other guy. They need to get way up there.
And tonight is the round to do that. As we heard in the pre-race show, this is the last round we run in the regular direction. So if you know that you have the speed and you're strong going in the normal direction, this is the round for you. Round 7 is going to be a complete wild card. We have drivers that have done it the one and only time we've actually ran the rentals backwards. And we have other drivers in the field like Adam Ward who have never, ever ran backwards. So that's going to be the wild card. Who knows who's going to be good, who's going to be bad. So tonight's the night to really lock down some good points before we go into the finale.
Looks like we got a couple of 3-cart packs going on. First one, I believe, being Krug, McClendon Jr., and Ward. They're running real close, 2nd through 4th. But then we got Josie, Falconer, Floretta, and they're forming a little 3-cart pack back there. I think they got away from Russell a little bit, so tough break for him. Way back in 8th so far. Don't know if that's kart selection or pure incompetence on Austin's part.
Yeah, we see the third place Krug on the back of Scott McClendon Jr. He's fallen off from the back of Lauer, and Lauer's seemed to put an impressive lead to second place, so it'll be a battle for second place as Adam Ward's right there behind Bobby Krug as well. So who's going to come on top of that? I'm not sure, but we still got half a race left here, and you can see Scott McClendon Jr. running a defensive line. Bobby Krug's going to try swinging it out on the outside, but he knows that's not going to work. Passing him on the outside in the North Pole turn, since they're all pretty much left-hand turns, as they're going to technically be cross flags right now, as Brendan Lauer is going to pretty much have this thing in the bag if he can keep up his pace.
Yeah, as we look at that Krug-McClendon Jr. battle, Ward's still right on the bumper of Krug. All it takes is a little slip up. He'll be there side by side through 2. Not sure if he's going to get him. Yeah, McClendon. And Ward forcing his way through in turn 3, gets below Krug, but will he be able to keep it going? Looks like Krug's kart has a little bit more speed, even though Adams got the draft down to the North Pole turn. A little contact with Scott, and he is way out of there. Back to 4th goes Krug.
Rookie mistake by Krug. He's not a rookie by any means, but still a rookie mistake. It was kind of weird. He kind of got up in the loose, I don't want to say marbles, because I don't think there is any marbles up there, but just lost the grip and moved up. I think that was 100% on him, but he's going to be trying to, gather himself up and try to fight back for that second place spot that McClendon is currently occupying.
Something we got to keep an eye out on is we just had rain the day before this race. So, especially in a turn like that, where you're going to need a lot of grip, I'm pretty sure I was hearing drivers talk about middle line or the higher line, possibly both of them, being so void of rubber that there's nothing to stick to. And I think that's what happened to Krug there. He just started in the wrong place, and no matter what he did, there was no chance he was going to grip it and get a good turn out of it. Just out of the line, out of the grip.
And I like to point this out during our races. Brendan Lauer probably has a really huge smile on his face as we see, second through 4th battling it out hard. So, like I always mention, when they're battling, they're losing speed. So that means Brendan Lauer is just going to pretty much pull away here, and that's what he's doing.
You saw even right there, even though he's way out there safely in the lead, he even got a little bit of sideways action going there. So I think Lauer maybe a little bit high going through the North Pole turn that time. He found where it's just not going to work.
But Brendan does have the luxury right now of being able to kind of test out new lines. If he has this much playroom to mess around with to second place, he can kind of test out lines, and if something happens where we invert the field for next heat, he can figure out what lines work best and work his way through the field to hopefully sweep the night again.
Getting close to the 2 to go mark. Ward challenges on the outside. That's not going to work, and Krug knows it. Pounces on him and retakes 3rd. Power move through the North Pole turn.
That was a strong move for Krug, and we weren't expecting anything less of him because he's going to want to fight for that second place spot. I don't remember the last time we've seen Lauer, Krug 1st and 2nd. I think it may have been last round when Bobby Krug was able to... Nope, because Lauer finished 5th when he finished 1st and vice versa. So we haven't seen a Lauer-Krug 1-2 finish in a long time, especially since they've been splitting them in an A and B block. So I think that's what Krug's really trying to fight for here.
Side by side down the back. Is he gonna do it? No, he's not, because that is not the way to pass. Never mind, he gets it anyway. I don't know shit.
I don't know how that happened, but white flag's going to be out for Brendan Lauer. He's going to lap. I think that's Clemens he's going to lap, as Bobby Krug's currently sitting in the second place spot. I don't know if he's going to be able to maintain it. Looks like Adam Ward was able to get past Scott McClendon Jr., pushing him back to 4th. And Adam Ward's going to battle him hard. He goes out to his inside and outside, switching back and forth, trying to find the speed as they're going to take it down the backstretch.
I swear to God, Adam, don't do anything stupid or else Bobby will have your head on a silver platter. We've seen it before.
Brendan Lauer looks smooth sailing here as he's going to take the checkered flag tonight, punch in the air. Super excited with that. He's going to pick up his 8th win here in the fall, and something's happened to Bobby. He is falling fast.
Damn it. He looks mad again. Bobby, bring up the counter of the amount of times you've been mad. Put it on the screen.
And
yeah, it's that many times.
Let's take a look and see what happened there to Bobby Krug. He's going to still be nice to his teammate, but let's take a look and see what happened here.
Alright, as we see, he was trying to hold second, taking it way low. He had to hit the brakes early, out of line, and a big bump. Oh, man. Oh, and that is the sound of one pissed off Bobby Krug. Jesus, man.
That's not good. You saw him lose the speed and lost to Scott McClendon Jr. in the North Pole turns, and then going through the 90, you got Micah Floretta too. So tough night for Bobby, finishing fifth. As we see there, Brendan Lauer taking the win, Adam Ward second, Scott McClendon Jr. third, and you can see the rest of the finishers right there.
And looks like Brendan Lauer claims the championship with the win. That's a pretty good way to start the night. Let's see what happens the rest of the night.
You think by now you'd have the coin?
I have a coin.
Oh, you have a coin. Sorry, I didn't mean to assume it.
There's freaking 13 drivers. It better be heads tonight, brother.
It better be tails. Bobby Krug's on, it has fifth place. He'll be on that nice solid outside line. All the fast guys will be behind him, and he's going to cruise right through the pack.
Is that how it's going to work, Bobby?
In a perfect world, but this ain't a perfect world, so I don't know what the hell's going to happen.
I got a coin. I got a quarter. As you can see, there's the tails, and there's the heads. Okay, the heavy drivers are back on the grid. It's time to flip the coin. We're going to find out if we're heads up or we're inverted. Coin is in the air. And it's tails. We are inverting tonight. We are inverting.
Just like I told you.
Bobby called it. It is tails.
And the starting grid is going to be lining up here as we'll take a look at it, presented by ATA Network. And starting on the front row in the pole position will be Sean Clemens. He was a lap down from the last race. He'll be joined with Patrick Schmooke. And we'll take a look back at row 2 here. Jared Hester and then Lawrence Dunlap.
It's going to be awfully dangerous. Got this inverted field as we see row 3, Austin Russell, Scott Falconer. Austin had a pretty bum card, I think, last time, so he should have a pretty easy go getting to the front to start this one off. Then Gary Falconer, Ryan Josie taking your row 4. Average time 39 seconds about for both of them, so pretty solid laps.
Row 5 is going to have Bobby Krug to the inside after that incident with Adam Ward. Alongside of him will be one of his teammates, Micah Floretta. And then behind them will be Scott McClendon Jr. And to his outside will be Adam Ward.
As we round out the field, your new fall 2017 iDrive champion, Brendan Lauer, just clinched it with that last win. He could go for another just for shits and giggles, but I think he might actually be looking to help one of his friends out because we've got a points battle going on right now between Micah Floretta and Austin Russell. If he has a chance to help either of them, I think he'll take it.
Definitely, I would agree with you on that. And like you just mentioned, the points gap between Micah and Austin has changed. With Micah Floretta finishing 4th and Austin Russell finishing back there in 9th, that points gap has definitely trimmed some fat. So should be interested to see if Micah Floretta can work his way up to the front and pass Austin Russell again. We could have a really close points battle going into the finale, round 7.
Be a great challenge. Let's see how it goes.
Thumbs are up, and we're getting ready for this flag. Hope they don't dilly-dally with it. I want to see green. There's green. Going for heat 2, and Lauer almost hits Keith Scharf for some reason.
He's wanting to get through that pack quick. As you can see, Brendan Lauer, Bobby Krug, both on the outside. They're going to go 4 wide into the turn 2. This is the craziest you see when they invert the field. And then Austin Russell, he's pushed below the barriers, and he's losing a lot of ground. He's going to go all the way back to the back of the pack.
3 wide down the back. Lauer trying to make some moves. Krug trying to move into first. How did he get there so fast? Krug is your new leader in the North Pole turn.
That was some fast, and we got a big pile up down the North Pole turns. There's at least 3 or 4 carts that seem to have spun around backwards. I can't see who they are, but
guys, I don't know what to
mess.
do with you.
I mean, what do you expect from an inverted field, though? I mean, that was insane.
Yeah. What I want to see here is people lining up and not passing each other under yellow, because that's not something they really go over a lot as we look at the instant replay of this accident. See what happened here. I kind of missed it.
Yeah, we'll see here. We're going to ride on board with Austin Russell since he was pushed back to the back of the pack, and we'll see how this all happened. Man, that's just way too many karts you want to see passing you at one time, and you lose a lot of speed because that's a part of the surface that's not raced on, so there's a lot of different debris that's set up there. But as he goes all the way to the back of the pack, just kind of falls in line, and we'll just start seeing here karts just pick off Ryan Josie, actually the driver, to get around first, and drivers with nowhere else to go. Still 3-4 wide drivers banging and everything, so just a complete mess as Keith Scharf's got everybody pretty much single file lined up, as we're going to pretty much do like a Margay style start to a race where we're actually going to have a rolling start here for the first time in iDrives for a long time. I don't remember ever seeing one.
Okay, so I'm seeing a bit of a problem here. Lauer's sitting about, I think, 6th or 5th or something. Ooh, big hit. They're still trying to organize shit here. They got to get this under control, because there was a major, like, 5-second gap between the top 3 and then the rest of the field, or something along those lines. It was just trying to get ready to get it going back green here without screwing pretty much everyone over.
We got a call here from race control saying the drivers involved officially were Ryan Josie, Gary Faulkner, and Patrick Schmooky. Scott McClendon Jr. actually was able to get around that, even though when we looked at the footage, you could see him on the outside of Ryan Josie as he went around. So I don't know how he got around it, but it was a miracle for him. And then we also see we're going to have green flag this time by. So Bobby Krug will be the control car as they go through the 90. So he'll be able to determine when he pretty much hits the gas. And also, they're on speed limiters and on a box, so he really doesn't have that much control. It's pretty much whoever has the box. But
hoping for a clean restart. Keep them pointed the right direction. Green, green, green. Don't wreck it.
Looks fairly clean as everybody gets through the first turn fairly well. We'll see Austin Russell here in the 4th place spot, showing out behind Jared Hester, Lawrence Dunlap in 2nd. Bobby Krug, very fortunate with that caution, because he put 2 slower guys pretty much as a roadblock for drivers like Austin Russell and Brendan Lauer. We see Austin Russell trying to work on the outside of Jared Hester and can't make it work, so he's going to back his way a little bit back there, can't get by him. Lawrence Dunlap up high. Jared Hester going to go get that 2nd place spot. Austin Russell once again just falls back. Adam Ward challenging him for that 4th place spot.
Jostling for position. People are not going to have a lot of patience when they know they've got slower cars ahead of them. Just hope no one does anything reckless here. We've done so far much better than the first start. We kept everyone moving, no wrecks, no nothing, just a couple of hard bumps.
And with the few green flag laps we've had and the caution laps, we're almost halfway through with this race too. So it's going to feel pretty quick to allow the guys that are battling here for position. Adam Ward, to the inside of Lawrence Dunlap, battling for that 3rd place spot. Austin Russell's going to try catching a train ticket to that spot as well, but can't get it done. Gets a bump from someone behind him, asking him to ooh, look who's come to save him. That's going to be Brendan Lauer right there, traveling behind Austin Russell. Let's see what those two can kind of tango together and do for Austin Russell's point situation with Micah Ferretta.
It's kind of what I was talking about during the grid. Lauer has everything he needs, so he really has nothing to lose. He'll go ahead and, I think, try to help Russell secure that 3rd place spot. Of course, it's hard to choose between close friends like Micah and Austin. He's known them both for a long time. But Micah's way back and Austin's right in front of him, so he'll just take the opportunity and force by, gets him one more spot there, still side by side with someone.
I believe that was Lawrence Dunlap.
Oh yeah, it was Lawrence Dunlap. My mistake, Lawrence. Love you, man.
As we see that, like you said, he gave him +1 position. Now he's behind Adam Ward again. Adam Ward, one of the faster guys. Bobby Krug, got to be loving this. He's just going to be pulling away from these battles, so he's probably going to be able to pick up the win tonight as long as he doesn't hit a barrier or someone doesn't punt him out of the way.
Looks like Josie still hasn't recovered from that initial incident, because he was running about mid-pack when he spun out that first caution, but as we see, coming to lap 8, and he's still running 9th place, so I don't know, we've seen glimmers of promise from him, hoping to see some consistency. Now Lauer motioning to Austin, he wants them to know exactly what he's there for. They're going to try to work through these next 2 carts.
Yeah, Austin Russell, Brendan Lauer good friends with each other, and they both have a lot of experience here in the iDrive series. I know they've been racing here for at least 2 years now in the iDrive series, so they know what they got to get done and what they got to do to get around this track. So should be cool if they can get by everybody and we can see Lauer, Krug, Russell podium tonight.
All right, that's the two in front of them, Jared Hester, Adam Ward. And they seem to be holding pretty steady gap on these 4th and 5th place drivers. Lauer trying to get a real good shot down the back, give him a good push. That's right where you want to do it. It's one thing to say that you're helping someone. It's another to actually be able to give him the bump and make life a little bit easier for him.
Yeah, you got Jared Hester, Adam Ward. Jared Hester, he runs a really defensive line. Adam Ward, also very defensive, but he also likes to play on the offense a lot. Doesn't take much to bump people out of the way, as you saw there with the Bobby Krug situation in the Heat 1, so you got to mess up in front of you. So I say they got a good chance. Maybe if they have a little bit more time here, as we only got 3 laps now, as they're on their third 3 to go right now, but it should be interesting to see if they can catch back up and
nothing. Looks like Adam Ward took a look underneath in turn 3 there. Didn't quite have the run he was looking for. Taking a couple peeks. It looks like he has enough speed to move to the side and try to get a run on him, but he's not quite getting the speed he needs to actually stay beside him. He can get a peek inside the fender, but that's about it so far. So actually a pretty impressive run here from Hester. We've seen really good finishes so far from Ward, and Hester not so much, but he's holding really good in second. So even though it's an inverted start, I'd still want to give him a lot of credit to still be where he is. He's got some 3 fast cats right behind him, and he's holding his own with some grace here.
He's only going to have 1 more lap to do it. Bobby Krug about to take the white flag here. He should have the win locked down. And then Austin Russell, you see signaling to Brendan Lauer. It's go time. As if they want to get by these guys, they're going to have to go right now. And I'm sure Adam Ward's thinking the same exact thing about Jared Hester, and Brendan Lauer just right there for Austin Russell's comfort. So it should be cool to see what's going to happen here. There's still a pretty decent-sized gap between Adam Ward and Jared Hester, but if he can get a good run out of this turn 3, it will be pretty awesome for him if he can get that pass going.
Ward trying to get a run. I think he's in striking distance. He might try something down here. Little bump. Hester's out of it. Russell moves around. That'll give him another.
Bobby Krug's going to take the win tonight. That'll be his 4th win of the season. And Austin Russell's going to bring it home in that 3rd place spot. Adam Ward, obviously, 2nd place after some more contact. I'm sure he doesn't want to take positions like that, but hey, it's still an extra spot for him in the point standings. As we can see here, we actually had a pretty interesting finish there back there with Brendan Lauer. Let's take a quick look at the instant replay. He did help his teammate Austin Russell get by, but as we'll see here, it just wasn't as easy for him to get around Jared Hester after he went kind of ducked down to the inside, wasn't paying attention, and pretty much chopped him right there.
Yeah, didn't have room, and he could have kept going and stole a position there, but he obviously cut the course, so he gave the position back. But still, all in all, a great night. He got to help a friend, and Lauer Krug sweeps round 6. A win for Krug, a win for Lauer, and a little bit of 3-wide contact underneath. The cooldown.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. As we see here, Jared Hester, Brendan Lauer, Scott McLennan Jr., Lawrence Dunlap, Ryan Josie, Scott Faulkner, and his brother Gary Faulkner round out the top 10 of the race. Michael Ferretta, pretty bad race there, finishing in 11th.
What the hell are you doing, Micah? That's so bad. Standing here with the one and only Austin Russell, brought home a 3rd of the 9th. Not the best night he's had. As I'm sure we're going to ask everyone in these post-race interviews, what do you think about that last race? Real crazy, huh?
It was interesting. A lot of beating and banging. An inverted field always brings an exciting race for everybody. Yeah, I mean, everyone's just, you got the fast guys in the back. When you got a 13-car field, I mean, that just... like I said, it's exciting, but it's rough at the same time. So, it was so up and down. You start off the bat, was up toward the front half of the pack, get knocked around in turn 2, come out of turn 3 in last place, and then somehow there's a big pile up down on the North Pole turn. You come to the start finish line in 4th place all of a sudden.
7 to go.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. You know, inverted fields, you just never know what you're going to get. Sometimes it's a nice and easy going for you, and sometimes you're just the pinball and the pinball machine. So it's a lot of fun, though.
All right, next week's going to be the backwards race, the final race of the iDrive fall season. You did it last year, correct?
Yeah, we ran it in the springtime.
Your leader comes to the
Exciting track. If you haven't come out to see the iDrive series, I highly recommend
to we're going to try to
come out and see it. If you're going to come out and watch any race,
but it depends.
It's like a road course for NASCAR or a super speedway. I mean, it's the race that it's a wild card. Anybody can win it. It's a new layout.
As it starts to cut down,
rain's really starting to come down now, just in time. The heavies are running.
Checker flag. Next
they're going to call the race short.
Checker will be
It's a fun race. It's just a different layout. It's fun to come out, and it's like racing a whole new track. It's entirely different. Not one turn is the exact same. And just end the season like that on a fun note.
Checker flag.
I say fun, but at the same time, it's
Checker flag
the hardest race of the year because it's so new.
Turn them down.
The layout is it's just crazy. So
yeah, it is.
Well, the rain's pouring down now. So.
Yeah, it's now coming down. What the hell? He's gonna ruin the camera. Shit. The one time we tried to do it outside.
Just a great wreck there, dude.
They wrecked?
Yeah, when it started raining.
God damn.
Yeah.
Well,
7-car pile up in the first round.
Pouring down, yeah.
Good. You just missed a great pile up. That was a bummer.
So we'll see you next week. That's what you got to look forward to. Something like that.
awesome. Radical.
Standing by here with Brendan Lauer. He won the first race, wound up in the 5th place position in the second race. Tell us how your night was in your cart.
All right, I'll tell you how the night was. Now, I'll mention the thing you didn't mention is that I won the 2017 Fall iDrive Series tonight, mathematically. I believe, yes. Absolutely not trying to brag it, I just kind of thought you'd bring it up. Okay, anyway, tonight, first race, car was on rails. There's really nothing I could do to ruin it. We're in a very loud area, so we go ahead and just take it down this way and keep the interview going. Yeah, first race, I thought it was going to last a little bit longer than 3 laps. I don't know if there was contact behind me or what, but I knew Scott was close, and then he was like after 2-3 laps there was nothing. But the second race, that was amazing. Almost ran over Keith Scharf. Whenever we pulled out of the starting grid, I almost hit him because I had made it 4 wide, and I kind of thought he wouldn't still be on the track. All sorts of banging around, just good old fun. Unless you're still competing, then it wasn't fun. It was probably annoying. There's a lot of people not paying attention, ramming into each other on the cool down. There was a cart that wouldn't take off during the pace lap, and y'all were a full straightaway in front of us. So that was cool. And then for the actual race, I got to push Austin up to, I think he got up to 4th place. And, I mean, least I could do. I don't know if I ended up screwing over you points-wise. I just, I don't have anything to lose, so go ahead and push him. I think he was 6th when I got to him, and he ended up 4th, so it worked out for everyone. Just a lot of adrenaline tonight, a bunch of crazy racing. Just barely beat the rain and came down during the heavy race, so I'm gonna leave happy. Sorry about what happened in your first race.
It happens.
But you got to win after that, so.
You got any sponsors you'd like to thank?
Oh, you know, just Frito-Lay, Pepsi, Delphi, Hendrick Motorsports, Goodyear,
First career
DuPont.
podium.
Like you.
Break up that sponsor.
Chase Authentics, DuPont, Miracle Science again. Chevrolet, GMAC, Tyvek, Winston Cup Series, Quaker State, and Jeff Gordon. Insensitive prick. I don't mean it.
Okay, trying
actually
to take
nice.
pictures in the end of the building tonight due to that short-lived show. Glad we got as much in as we could.
Standing by here with Scott McClendon Jr., 3rd place and a 6th place tonight under your belt. Tell us how your night went. Walk us through any struggles you might have had.
Definitely second race was very, definitely struggling. But first race, pretty good. Qualified second behind Brendan. And the fact that I qualified second was interesting because I was by myself for most of that run. And he had the draft with Austin. So if I was with someone that was probably relatively faster, I'd probably be in front of him. But during the race, he pretty much blasted, so couldn't really do anything about that. But I was defending in front of Bobby and I cannot remember his name.
Adam Ward.
Adam Ward, and it was indeed a fun battle. Bobby got around me on the outside coming to the backstretch, and last lap it was pretty much a brawl because Adam kind of forced it in there, not intentionally, but he was very aggressive, and it kind of just ended up bad for Bobby. He got passed by Micah, who was just sitting there waiting as usual. But it was a pretty fun race for the first race. Second race, it was crashing like ridiculous amount of times. Going through the North Pole, there was a crash. Bobby got through. I was following him. I didn't make it, so I ran to the barrier avoiding someone. And it was pretty much from then on trying to catch people. But turn one, someone got horizontal, and I had to slow up for that, so it pretty much got me out of the contention for top 5. But I was catching you guys because you guys were battling out so much. And yeah, it was pretty interesting. But definitely loved the races tonight. It was very fun. And it was very interesting to see the rain downpour for the heavy class, so I'm glad that it happened after our race. But it was pretty good.
Overall, a good night tonight for Scott McClendon Jr. We'll see him next round, where we will go in the backwards direction for the season finale before the championship.
And I'm pretty good there, because I was catching the top 3 last time if I didn't have 4th place in front of me. So
look for Scott to be a threat in the backwards race. Standing by with Adam Ward. 2 podium finishes tonight, a 2nd place and a 2nd place. Walk us through your night, specifically your incident with Mr. Bobby Krug in the first heat.
Well, I'm going to start with the kart draws. It's the only reason why I got 2 podiums. I got number 10 and number 17. Probably 2 of the fastest karts that are here right now. Felt really good. I ran into the low 38s in both races. But leading up to that point where I hit Bobby, we had gone back and forth a couple of times earlier in the race. And I would always get a really good run out of turn 3. And I had made him nervous. I think he started taking defensive lines like he's seen me do. So he took a really low line going into the North Pole turn. And I was waiting for him to swing out and get a more advantageous line, and it didn't happen. So I said, this is when I can pass. I cut in, I got underneath him, I saw his cart still struggling to grip, and I said, he's not gonna grip, I got this. And then all of a sudden it just hooked and came just flocking down, and we made a little rub. Not intentional.
Some would call it a little rub, some would call it a punt, but that's okay.
No, it's not a punt if your sides hit each other.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, that's what happened there.
And then what about that second race there?
Second.
How'd you get through that big old crash that we had in the North Pole turn that first lap? You were ahead of it, weren't you?
Yeah, I got ahead. I started second from the back. I tried to squeeze in front of Brendan because I knew he was, he's a little guy. He can get that cart moving up to speed a little bit quicker than I can. So I tried to just cut in front of him because I knew if I got in front of Brendan, he'd be bumping me in the back, pushing me through the other carts. And then the second there's a gap between any car, you just try and get that low line and use everybody else to guide you through the turn more than the cart could normally handle. So I got up to 5th or 6th-ish before the collision happened. And it was weird because all the carts had slowed down and mine still had a lot of speed, and I coasted by everybody, not understanding what was happening. And then we got back to racing, and from there it's just one person after another I was able to pass until Jared, who was in 2nd place, and he gets extremely squirrely in some of the tighter turns. He'll just go in hot and then he'll just jam the brake to the floor and he'll slide both directions, and you don't know which way he's going to drift. And yeah, we also had a little collision, and he couldn't maintain the line and got bumped by the next 3 people behind him. So he had some unfortunate event involving me also tonight. But it's not a trend, I promise.
Yeah.
That one, I was going for the tap, but he was pretty light-sported about it.
So overall, a good night for you, you'd say? 2 second-place finishes?
It was all right. The first place, I wish it was a little nicer, but I did give the look back. I wish I had my GoPro on. I tried to give the look back to give Bobby the second place back, but Scott was behind me, and that's all I could see. I said, well, I guess I can't.
Screw it, I'm going to take it. Yeah. Adam Ward, we'll see him next round when we will take the track in the backwards direction, and then after that we will look to the championship event where you might win yourself the Margate Kart for next year.
I don't think so. There's a lot of people from the spring series that I know nothing about racing in that. We'll see.